article after article after article about telling laid off oil and gas workers, coal workers, that they could just get green jobs on the windmill farms as the future. You know what? Huffington Post journalists, have you tried getting a green job? Try getting a green job.
Yeah.
Just, that's what you wanted everybody else to do. So show us how it's done.
Sheila's so right about how the mainstream media operates. They adore your money. Actually, I don't think they adore it, Sheila. I think they feel entitled to it. There's no appreciation of it. They expect to be fed like some surly house cat. But when it comes to listening to your opinions, you scroll down so often, don't you, Sheila? And what do you see? That one sentence, comments for this article have been disabled. Have we ever done that in the history of Rebel News? I mean, it is astonishing how they want your money, don't want to hear your opinion, and carry on. It's such grotesque entitlement.
They do it on their YouTube channels too.
Yep.
You go to tell them how awful they are on their YouTube channel, and you're like, you can't. You just can't. And I think it prevents them from learning that nobody likes them. They think that, because they're not getting negative feedback, that what they're producing is just wonderful and everybody likes it. But there's no opportunity for feedback. So there's none of that market correction that they really need. They're not hearing from the customer, and Justin Trudeau gives them money even when they're failing. So they just continue to do the same thing over and over again, and their company continues to fail, which is fine by them because the taxpayer just keeps bailing them out.
Sheila, I take an opposite tact. I think members of the mainstream media, many of them, hate common people, hate the average Joe and Jane. And I really saw that on display going back to late November, Adamson Barbecue, the Great Canadian Barbecue Rebellion that lasted for 3 days. Only us and our friend Joe Warmington of the Toronto Sun were allowed onto the Adamson Barbecue property by owner Adam Skelly. And all the media was behind the ditch with their live eyes and their telephoto lenses and what have you.
Love it.
And the way they were reporting that story, it wasn't, we're up with freedom. It was, come on, cops, what are you going to do? Well, why are you letting this Typhoid Mary carry on his restaurant? Meanwhile, 300 meters behind them is a Costco jammed to the gills with its own food service facility still operating because suddenly that's a necessity. So, Sheila, I think because so many of us don't sing from their song sheet, they hate us. They really do, but not so much that they'll turn down our money, right?
That reminds me of a gem that was once published in the now defunct Huffington Post Canada. And it was, maybe Justin can dig it up. I know that this is sort of spontaneous. We didn't plan for this, but how could we not talk about the failure that is Huffington Post Canada? They are no longer publishing. They unionized at the end of February and bragged about it. And then guess what? They're no longer publishing content at all. Permanently disabled as of March 12th. They're grateful for your support and readership. The thing is, nobody supported them and nobody read them, which is why they're now defunct. They were bought by BuzzFeed, which publishes, listicles these days, and then closed because I guess they weren't even fluffy enough and left-wing enough for BuzzFeed. But I remember the Adamson Barbecue article published by Huffington Post. And Justin, I think I tweeted it saying something akin to, it's going to be sad to see gems like this no longer published by Huffington Post. And it was accusing, I guess, the whole Adamson, hard to believe this Huffington Post gold is gone forever. Analysis to see white privilege in action, look to Toronto's Adamson Barbecue debacle. What about any of that was white privilege? He was being hauled away, if you look, by two officers of color. They called the riot squad in on a barbecue place. They could not have been more heavy-handed if they tried. And somehow the lunatics at Huffington Post thought this was that Adamson Barbecue was getting favorable treatment. The guy's being frog marched away in handcuffs. It's hard to believe it's hard to imagine the same outcome if Adam Skelly were a black or brown person, is what they claimed. I don't know how it could have gotten worse for him.
Sheila, that was indeed the jump the shark moment for Huffington Post Canada. If a restaurant owner is tackled, arrested, handcuffed, thrown into a paddy wagon, spends a day in jail, has his business shut down, has his other business shut down on some other unrelated charges, and is then sent a bill for $187,000 for the law enforcement costs. If that is white privilege, I sure as hell hate to see white discrimination, Sheila.
Well, and when you look at how the Toronto cops, the same ones who frog marched a small business owner away for just wanting to sell smoked meat, if you look how they reacted during the Black Lives Matter protests, there were no tickets issued. That was perfectly fine. The virus, I guess, breaks along party lines. And the police took a knee to what was an illegal protest. I mean, I don't care about whether or not, like for me, I think protests, knock yourself out. But every single week, those same cops are issuing tickets to the anti-lockdown protesters, and they turn a black eye to BLM. And then, like the Huffington Post writes an article saying that Adam Skelly was the benefactor of white privilege. I mean,
unbelievable.
Are they hard of remembering the last year?
Oh, it's just so beautiful to see these woke virtue signaling, everything is racism journalists get the can tied to their butts. And and I got to tell you something, a little inside baseball information. About a decade ago, Sheila, I was courted to write for Huffington Post, and I submitted a couple of articles. There was more freedom then. It wasn't as radically left as it is now. And here's the thing, and I kind of get why they probably went the unionization route, although it sunk the ship. When I asked, by the way, how much do I invoice? How much per word am I supposed to charge? They went, oh, no, you see, we don't pay. And I went, excuse me? Yeah, well, it's a liability thing. You see, if we don't pay you, there's it was some convoluted, I know, Sheila, I didn't understand it either. I was talking to the lady firsthand. And so there's some sort of mechanism where I think some get paid, some don't get paid. The payment isn't the same across the board. And then I said, well, I can't write for you anymore because I got a mortgage, right? I'm not doing this out of benevolence. So it was absolutely shocking. And the excuse they gave for not paying freelancers did not make any sense in terms of this liability issue. So it's a good, and by the way, isn't Lady Huffington a billionaire or something like that?
Yeah, it's no wonder these far left-wing writers take to socialism so quickly, given that their left-wing bosses treat them like such garbage.
Yeah.
It's very fun. It's very funny. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, Huffington Post used to have a lot more freedom. I think if I remember the movie Hating Breitbart correctly, I think Andrew Breitbart helped develop the website Huffington Post before he moved on and created Breitbart and the sort of series of Breitbart silos that were originally there when that company first started. So yeah, naturally it had a more sort of free thought, free enterprise kind of view about it. But I guess the good news is Althea Raj, she could just sort of move her desk right into the Prime Minister's office and just cut out the middleman of having to write for Huffington Post first. And for me, as someone who watches the layoffs in Alberta's energy sector over and over again, I normally don't, and I want to say that I'm not celebrating these layoffs right now, but I'm having a tough time mustering up some give a damn for these people after article after article after article about telling laid off oil and gas workers, coal workers, that they could just get green jobs on the windmill farms as the future. You know what? Huffington Post journalists, have you tried getting a green job? Try getting a green job.
Yeah.
Just, that's what you wanted everybody else to do. So show us how it's done.
Oh, hi friends. What you just saw there is a clip from our Rebel News daily live stream show. It's fun. It's fast and it's completely unscripted, so you never really know what you're going to get. Just go to rebelnews.com/livestream to sign up for special alerts.